Hey everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Print to Pitch. This is where we have a look at 3D printing for Blood Bowl, whether it's star players, full teams, accessories, things that are not meant for Blood Bowl but are actually amazing for Blood Bowl. We are having a look at all of those to make sure that we just see what great stuff there is out there for the greatest of all games. And talking of the greatest, we have got another team from Brutefun. So Brutefun, John, came on the show a few podcasts ago. We had a really good interview, talked through how he got into 3D sculpting and why. And ultimately, it's because he just wanted more of what was out there, so just went and started sculpting. Now, this next team that we've got for Brutefun is as good, if not better, than the Black Orc team. Still very in line with Games Workshop. We are going to have a look at the Brutefun Lizardmen team. Okay, so this team, John has outdone himself. It's available on Colts 3D, it's available on my Mini Factory, and every one of these players can be picked up individually for about $2 to $3. So if you are looking to add a few skinks to your team, you can do that for a few bucks. If you want everything that he has sculpted for the Lizardman team, and this is what I did, I went full in because the sculpts are amazing. On my Mini Factory, it's $38 for everything. Now, what John will do is he will provide these individually, and then we'll put everything together in one pack with 25% off. 25% off. So there's 22 individual models in this Lizardman team. And this comes in at $38, which is probably about £30. Which equates to 3 months of hunger. Now, what this bundle here has is, now it says one fantasy football big lizard, but I mean, as we go through, there is not just one Croxagore. This Croxagore has got multiple parts all over the place, okay? Multiple different heads, and because you can mirror, you end up with a ton of different Croxagores. Now, the cool thing about this entire team is that John wanted to have a team of Croxagores and skinks so that you could run them as the Fumble secret team, skink team, which is so cool. So you've got multiple kind of different Croxagores here as well. We've got star players absolutely up the wazoo. What do we got? So we've got one big lizard with multiple heads, 6 Saurus blockers, 1 Saurus star player, which would have been what, Anky Panky back in the day, and then I don't know who else he became. I'm not sure. Oh, no, not Anky Panky. Oh, Slibley, I think. The guy who had guard, I think. Oh, man. The old edition has really gone. So we've got the star player there. We've got 10 different skinks. 2 star player skinks, which are very cool sculpts, and 2 chameleon skinks as well. So a full whack of all these lizards. Now, I'm hoping on the screen you can see some of the quality sculpting here and some of the detail. We will have a look at the models. We will have a look at the STLs. But I couldn't resist. I went straight in as soon as there was a bundle. So we've got the Saurus star player. We've got these skinks here. Now the skinks, they've got the face masks. The style-wise here, you've got the headsets. You've got the face masks. You've got the face guards. Now these are the 2 of the star players. So this is for Drool and Dribble. So one's got Stab. And I love this. This beautiful snake. Did I print this guy off? I'm not sure if I printed this. I did print this guy off. And the snake sculpt is absolutely beautiful. It's so involved. But this is Drool and Dribble, basically, from the last edition. So when they return, you'll see them. Now, all of these Sauruses have the face mask, and they also don't have the face mask. Now, when it comes to supporting these models, currently they are not supported. So you will be supporting them yourself. And when we have a look at the STLs in a second, I will show you how I supported mine. Now, I'm a bit of a bandit, but I don't think I had a single fail. So at least if I can show you what I did, it might be okay. I did the face mask for the skinks. I didn't do the face mask for the Sauruses, but you've got 6 different Sauruses here with the face grill, without the face grill. And I think you'll agree with me that the sculpting here is pretty superb. And when it comes to the design element here, heavily leaning on the Games Workshop one, but there is this twinge of Gem Hadar. So if you're a Star Trek fan or a DS9 fan, you've got that kind of, they look butcher, okay? They look bigger and beefier than the standard Games Workshop Lizardmen, which is cool because they have got the same kind of Aztec plating. They've got the same design. but they've got that element of just they're a little bit wider, and it is really cool. Now the skinks are beautifully done, and there's a ton of different variations, and because Brutefun wanted to have a skink team be available to us, the variation there's huge. So we've got them with the frills, we've got them with the hats, we've got them with the grills, you've got all the different poses. You've gone with a kind of like a velociraptor pose for most of them, and it works really well. There's some this little dude is absolutely brilliant. So in the Fumble Secret team, there's a thing called Crested Skink, which is basically just a skink with Dauntless, which is not to be underrated. This is it. It's got this roided up skink here that's just looking for a brawl. Absolutely fantastic. And you've got some markers in there as well. The poses are brilliant. There's the chameleon skink. So the chameleon skinks are excellent. And again, we've got alternate heads here. You've got the tongue with the ball. This guy is the one I printed out and came out really beautifully. So you've got more chameleon skinks you can add to the mix. And that is all the different models there. So you've got a Croxigal with 4 different heads. You've got 6 different Sauruses with 2 different heads apiece. You've got 10 different skinks basically with a bunch of different heads. So you have got enough here to print several Lizardmen team without any duplicates. Like I said, however, currently they don't come pre-supported, and I support Brutefun's completely in this. He's said many times he doesn't have a 3D printer. He doesn't want to provide pre-supported models that don't work, so he'd rather be open and honest and say, I don't have them supported, I'd rather let you support them than me do a bad job of it. And I love that. So let's have a look at some of the STLs, and I can show you kind of how I supported mine. Okay, we got to start with one of the Croxigors. So the way the models come is in multiple parts, or as full models as well. Now, when it comes to 3D printing, you get to choose. So I took the road easiest traveled and supported the whole model. So when it came to the Croxigors, when it came to the Sauruses, when it came to the skinks, just one whole model, and I supported them in a kind of ugly fashion, but it worked out nicely. But it comes in different parts, and actually, you know what? I did print out a Croxigor in multiple parts. And I was going to build it, but then I just went printed 3 more full ones because I thought, it's going to be easier, and it was a lot easier. And I love that John's got all the different heads. You've got all the different options. So there's Crocs. What have we got? Crocs 2 full. We've got Crocs 2 full feather guard. Let's chuck that into Chitty Box as well, just so you can see the STLs, because the volume of stuff that you get, the volume of choice here is just absolutely wicked. So you got 1 Crocs there, this Crocs here with the mouth guard and the feather hat. I don't think I printed that one off. I didn't. I went with the 2 natural ones for my Crocs. Anyway, while we're here, we can have a look and see some of the sculpting detail here. Every one of these scales is individually sculpted. You've got damaged shorts, you've got the scales, you've got ringlets, we've got dangly bits off the armor. The detail is absolutely brilliant. Like, the Black Orc team was beautifully done and lined up great with the Games Workshop one. This Lizardman team goes above and beyond that. And I mean, John's awesome. The sculpting here might be some of the best out there for Blood Bowl. Like, Punga's great. Like, there's some really lovely stuff out there, but this is premium sculpting. If Games Workshop dropped this model, we'd all buy it in a heartbeat. Anyway, there's a bunch of different Croxigors. You've got the same stylistic approach as Games Workshop with theirs, and it works. They're beautiful. They are big models, and because they're 3D printed, you can scale them up and scale them down. And we've got to have a look at the Sauruses as well. So again, that detail carries over. The same level of sculpting quality as we got with the Croxigor is mirrored here on one of the, 12 different models basically for Sauruses, because you've got the different hats, you've got the different face masks, but everything we've said carries over. The detail is brilliant. There's no flat areas, there's no undercutting needed. There's a couple of fill-in bits on the arm there, but actually, as far as it goes, that's it. Like, I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time looking at the individual sculpts, because you can just go to the link below and have a look. If you're interested in 3D printing, you can see the volume of choice, I think, is probably the best way to go, but the quality is absolutely bang on. Now, every one of the sculpts, every one of the poses is done really, really well. Let's grab a skink as well and chuck him in there, because, you know, the cool thing about the Lizardman team is you only got a few different positionals. There we go. So we've got the skink on the go now here as well. And look at that. I mean, this is wicked. You've got holes in the frill, which is of battle damage there. And you've got, I love this one. This one's wicked because it's just in that Jurassic Park Velociraptor pose. Now, I don't have anything else to say about the sculpts, because genuinely they speak for themselves. So I'll just go through and show off my supports for a couple of these. So if you are new to supporting your own models, or yeah, I think it's probably the best way to talk about this. A lot of 3D printing, a lot of it comes pre-supported. You chuck it on the plate, you don't have to worry about it, it's good to go. Then there are other models that you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to support this, but that's fine, I can do that. Then you've got models like these. We've looked at the sculpts, they are detailed. They've got thin pieces like that wire face mask that is just apparently Games Workshop's deal now. And I was like, you know what, we're gonna have to try and print this. So I have got here, this was my skink print. So I grabbed a bunch of different skinks, and the best way to do it is to orient it so that they've got the best kind of angle. Now normally the default is you kind of tilt them 45 degrees backwards, and what happens then is that the supports come underneath the model, so that when you take the supports off it doesn't obscure any of the detail. Generally speaking, I think that's what I did here, and I was a absolute bandit. Positioned the models to the best orientation that I thought would be, like, you know, where am I going to lose detail and where am I going to be happy to lose detail. Now, when it came to the face masks, I also wanted the face masks to be at, where possible, at least a 45-degree angle. Because if you print, you'll print up like that. So actually it limits the point of, it limits the requirement for supports. So if we have a look at this dude here, there's only one little dagger support there, because actually I've been able to orientate the model so that it's actually going up, so that you don't have to support it. So what I did, I used Chitu Box. Now I know that's not everybody's favorite, and it probably just straight up isn't the best. I can't remember the other one is. And I orientated them, rose them 3 mil off the base, and then I auto supported with lights. Okay, light supports, and then what it did was it absolutely flooded the models with these little bits here. Now light supports are really light, and then what I did afterwards, and you can see on some of these models, is I went in to the point of flat spots, so underneath the feet, underneath the torso there, and I added either heavy or medium supports to make sure they sit. The reason for that is you want the heavy ones to keep them stuck to the base. All right, as the plate goes up and down, it creates suck, and where, you know, where the viscosity of the liquid is pulling down on the model. And if you are not supported strong enough to keep you attached to the base, that model will fall off and you will have a failed print. So what you want to do is balance the lights just to keep things in place and keep the model being printed, with a strong support here at the bottom to keep it on the plate. And you know what, it worked perfectly for every single one of my skinks. The only one bit of damage I had was that when I was taking it off, because the skink's legs are quite thin, I used the hot water method and snapped one of the legs in half. But I just cleaned it up as normal, glued it back on, and now I can't tell which one of my 15 skinks is the one with the broken leg. Another bit of evidence that I'm a bit of a cowboy printer. When it came to printing off the Croxagores, I printed one off in individual parts, and then I misplaced it. I think it got, I don't know, what these things happen. So I was like, well, I'll print off a couple more because I want them for Dungeon Bowl. That's right, multiple Croxagores in Dungeon Bowl. And you know what? I just chucked it on a plate, and again looked at orientating it. Now when it comes to these models, you got the face guard on the little dudes, and in fact on one of the Croxagore models, but you have to be aware of the teeth as well. So by orientating the Croxagore this way, I didn't need any supports on the teeth, and as you drop the slider down, you will see that all of the teeth here are supported by the skull itself. There's no individual islands, really. It's all being supported, which meant I could just do exactly the same thing that I did with the skinks. Now, with this guy, I did light supports, and then I went through and added a bunch of mediums and heavies. The same thing is true. You want to keep the model on the base, and you know what? It worked an absolute treat. And this was something that carried through when I was printing off the Sauruses as well. Try and orientate it so that the thin little bits don't need supports. Chuck on light supports, and then go in and move things around, add some mediums and some heavies to some flat areas you're not worried about losing detail, and keep them on the plate. Worked a treat for me. Just a few examples. I know that you guys out there are way better than me at supporting, and you can look at this and think, Ben, what is wrong with you? Well, I'm a cowboy, but it works. So we've looked at the pictures, we've looked at the STLs, we've looked at supporting them. Let's have a look at the actual models themselves. So I have printed all of this gear on my Mars 2 Pro with standard settings, standard resin, and standard sizing. And dude, these are so good. Oh, a little bit of support there. Let's pretend that doesn't exist, Ben. So, okay, this is how I supported it. We got the little face mask. Look at the tiny detail there. Okay, and it's come up absolutely beautiful. These are some of my favorite Blood Bowl models for a really long time. And look at this. Just this blurry Croxagore in the background. So this is one of the skinks. Now, I printed a bunch of skinks with the hats because I wanted to... It seemed the hardest thing to do, so naturally I went straight for it, and there's a ton of great poses for these guys, and there really is. You've got the good little foot spacing there. All of the models are well designed so that they will be mounted to the base proper. So we've got this classic Velociraptor pouncing, like hunting pose. It's so good. What else we got? We got a bit of a chameleon skink here. So I printed off one of the chameleon skinks. I just wanted to give it a go. The second one is pretty cool with a tongue bit, but I just wanted to print it out. It's got the classic Lego model hand there, and you know what, you can see the detail, the scales, you can see the detail on the eye, you can see the curl of the tail, you can see the shorts there. And you know, I've just shown you how I supported this, and you can see there are definitely some support pock marks, but that's why it's so important to support underneath the model. So the skinks came up really lovely, and I don't have anything else to say about the skink sculpts. They're excellent. We'll check out the size in a second, but I think we're just going to skip straight to the Croxagore. Croxagores are just awesome. They are probably one of the best models, the best big guys in the game. I'm a big Minotaur fan, but I don't know, the Croxagore is pretty decent. Look at this model. The Games Workshop Croxagore is very good, but this is insanely spicy. Look at the detail. Look at the teeth. This is proper detail. This is proper dinosaur-tastic. You've got the Aztec like mounts on the shoulder. Actually, this is good because you can kind of see a few of the layer lines here from where I printed this guy kind of flat. And this is definitely something you have to watch out for if you're pre-supporting your own models. If I get the light on there, I don't know if you guys can see that on the footage, but you can just about see the layer lines in there. And this is with standard print, so you can drop the layer lines and you can pre-support them better. Anyway, Croxagore is very, very, very cool. Now I suppose you better look at the Sauruses too, and again you get that full-on dinosaur mouth effect. Now there's a couple of bits of support that I've not taken off here, and I think with a bit of the light you can see, you can't really see much of the layering, and that's excellent. But what you can see is the individual detail of the rope on all of the arm bits holding the arm plates on. You can see that kind of the stretch marks of the lizard neck. There's a sentence you don't say every day, but we've got this cool crest mark, you've got all the scales, you've got all the detail. It's just looking really, really, really good. And before we move on to some painted examples, I did want to show off the skink star player, one of the skink star players. Now, John, I think, said either on the interview or just from having chats with him that the snake was his favourite bit. And I was like, well, let's see if we can print this guy out and do it justice. So this is going to be one of the drool and dribble combination, but you can just chuck him on as your skink player, as a star player, if you're using the mercenary rules in your league as that as well. But it's difficult to get on camera because resin is grey, and grey doesn't tend to come up very nicely. but look at that. We've got an actual snake on the base, a snake as part of the model. I don't know. I'm just really sold. Really sold. The detail, the variety is outrageous. So I said that I would use contrast paints for this, and I have. I have used one of the Games Workshop greens. I went and bought the £35 undercoat spray or whatever it was, and I've chucked on one coat of contrast green over the top of Wraithbone, and what it's done is a really good job of picking out the detail. Now, what you're supposed to do with contrast paints is paint the area that you want the colour to be. However, because I wanted to show these models off, I thought, you know what, I'll paint the whole flipping thing, let contrast do its stuff and pick out the detail. Now, I'm going to remind you, this is my Mars 2 Pro with no fancy settings and bog standard resin. And this is perfect. So we've got one of the lizards, one of the sauruses. This is on a 32mm base from Asgard Rising, because I love, you can print them vertically. They come pre-supported, which means on one plate you can get like 60 bases. It's awesome, especially for stuff like print to pitch. And I did like the mud effect. Now this is one of the little dudes, and you know, the 3-point stance is just so NFL. This guy looking like he's getting ready to sprint, which incidentally is quite a good skill. Makes them go from movement 8 to movement 11, basically. That's an exaggeration, Ben, but hey, it works. Anyway, you can see the detail comes up really nicely. And then I started, but haven't quite finished painting the Croxagore. But I think you will agree that with not a lot of time, this has come up really nicely. All I have done on this dude is contrast green the whole flipping thing, put on some orange on his shorts, put on some gold on his shoulder pad, and chuck on some Seraphim Sepia just to add that little bit of shading to the gold and the orange. Did a little bit of flesh work in the mouth because this is just a little bit early on. I started painting up the nails nicely, but I just wanted to get a little bit of paint on this model just to start seeing some of the detail and some of the great work. Now, one of these is mirrored, and I don't remember which one it is, but the whole point here is that I've now got two Croxagores who are mirrored, and that's pretty sweet. I probably should have done one with a different headdress so I can tell them apart, but hey, they don't take very long to print, and they are quite easy to support, the Croxagores, because they're big chunky boys. And just multiple Croxagores, multiple skinks, and you've got all of the sauruses you will ever need. So we should probably do some size comparisons. So I'm going to grab my trusty Black Orc, who is strength 4, just to kind of compare the size against the Lizardman Saurus here. So Lizardman Saurus versus Black Orc, they're both strength 4 blockers. That's their role in Blood Bowl, both on 32mm bases. Let's have a look and see if we can compare the height. So the Saurus is longer. The tail is going to be a little bit of a problem on the pitch, but let's face it, you can just swivel the model around, and the Games Workshop ones are the same. The good thing about the tail is that it is a nice thickness. It's nice, it's chunky, so it's not going to snap off. Skaven coaches, you'll know what I'm talking about. And actually, if you look at the mass, I think it's about right. It's not particularly taller than the Black Orc. Let's see if we can line it up. It is a little bit, and that's okay because it's... Oh dear, going a bit squiffy on the camera. That's okay because it is a little bit bigger, but only by a little bit, and you can scale it down. But the great thing about these lizards is I think they are perfectly scaled. I have not wanted to or needed to scale and muck around with any of that, which is really nice. I know we looked at the Black Orcs and we scaled them down a little bit and scaled the goblins up a little bit. Not needed for this. And the skinks as well, they are supposed to be strength 2. This is strength 4. This guy lines up perfectly. We've got a goblin over here who is strength 2 as well from the Games Workshop Black Orc team. And if you want to look at the scale comparison there at 100%, you know what? Goblin, Lizardman definitely going to be strength 2 there. Sorry, the little skink. And because we've got this dude kicking around as well, let's grab the nobility thrower. And you can see that you got strength 3, strength 4, and very clearly strength 2 there. But I guess there's one more thing we should do, which is take this Croxagore. Now, the Croxagore is a huge model, and when it lines up to a Black Orc, you can see that the Croxagore is clearly strength 5. Now, whether he's a bit big for you or not, I don't know, but actually, if you look at the top-down thing, I've done him on a 40mm base, he stays within the base quite nicely, and because you've got that flexibility, he will overstretch a little bit with the arms, but actually you're running one Crocs. The Croxagore is going to be a big model. I believe in big guys being big guys, so I tell you what we can do is compare him to an Ogre from the Dungeon Bowl box. And yeah, alright, the Croxagore is a massive model, but like I said, I like my big guys to be really quite big guys. The Crocs has got maybe a little bit on it height-wise, but mass, the Ogre, is a quite civilized mass. The Croxagore is a giant behemoth, and you know what? I'm really fine with that. And there you have it, the Brutefun Lizardmen team. It's the best yet. Straight up the best yet. We've done and seen some really cool STL teams on here. We're still going. We've got the Fanath Chaos one coming up. We've got Torchlight Amazons coming up. And then we've got the back catalogue of Punga. We've even got like some kobolds and things to have a look at. We're having a really good time, but you get everything you need to run a multiple Croxagore Lizardman team with about 30 skinks. It's expensive. The STLs are expensive, and for not supported ones, definitely a second to think that's quite a lot. But if you just need a couple of skinks, just buy a couple of skinks. Like, that's the really cool thing here. What we've got in the Brutefun Lizardman team is a great alternative. If you don't want to pick up the Games Workshop box, you can pick this one up. It's the same price as the Games Workshop box, then you got to print it on top. But it comes with as many skinks as you need, unlike the Games Workshop box, and it comes with a Croxagore, which we've been waiting for many years. So the Games Workshop one's just landed, but the Brutefun one comes with 4 different versions of a Croxagore, and a star player, and a couple of skink star players, and multiple variants of every. You could have an entire team of skinks and not have a duplicate pose, and then you could mirror them. So if you are going to be running a Lizardman team, if you want to pick up a couple of extra skinks, you've got a 3D printer, a few dollars, you can pick up the skinks you want to pick up, and I highly recommend them because they are great fun. If you're playing Dungeon Bowl and you need some bits and bobs, this is a great way to pick and choose. If you wanted to, you could pick up the Croxagore, pick up a couple of Saurus, pick up a couple of skinks, mirror them, and you'd be there with a Lizardman team for maybe $12. If you want to go all in and get all the different variations, you will be spoilt. This is the best pack with the best amount of sculpts, the best detail, and this is advanced printing because you are going to have to support some very delicate pieces yourself. But it is the most rewarding printing experience I've had. I mean, look at it. The Croxagore alone is amazing, and these skinks, I've fallen in love with them. It's so good. I'm so excited. I've loved this. Brutefun's working on some Dark Elves or High Elves, and working on some Savage Orcs as well. This is just a phenomenal time to be a Blood Bowl fan. But this, I cannot recommend it enough. If you are remotely tangentially involved in Blood Bowl 3D printing, this is the best Lizardman team out there for Blood Bowl. It's better than the Games Workshop one. Brutefun has taken the design of Games Workshop's Lizardmen and just made them better, and has done what Games Workshop cannot do with a plastic kit, which is just provide variety without duplication. And I flipping love it. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of this excellent team. Price high, quality higher. Anyway, I'm going to disappear. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy printing. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content. We get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.